When you picture Marilyn Monroe, what comes to mind? The platinum blonde hair, right? That incredible smile? Of course, but there was something else, something invisible, that was a huge part of her whole mystique: her perfume. So today, we're going to dive deep into her glamorous world and find out exactly what scents defined this absolute icon. And really, it all kicks off with this one legendary quote from an interview back in 1952. I mean, just one sentence and boom, Marilyn Monroe forever linked herself with one of the most famous perfumes ever made. It just created the ultimate picture of sensuality, didn't it? So that gets us thinking, right? The big question is, can you actually go out and capture that same scent today? Could you walk into a store and buy the very perfumes Marilyn Monroe adored? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Let's dive in. Okay, so where do we even begin? We have to start with the big one, the absolute legend, Chanel number 5. I mean, this is the cornerstone of her entire fragrance story. So this fragrance goes way back to 1921, created for Coco Chanel herself. And it was no joke, a revolution in a bottle. Why? Well, it was one of the first to use a ton of something called aldehydes. Think of them as these synthetic molecules that give the scent a sparkling, almost champagne-like fizz. It totally changed the game for what a floral perfume could be. And you can see just how complex this thing is when you look at the notes. It starts with that bright, fizzy aldehyde and ylang-ylang combo, right? Then it dries down into this classic, gorgeous heart of jasmine, rose, and that soft, powdery iris. And it all settles on this warm, cozy, woody base. It's so sophisticated. It's not just like smelling a rose, it's like smelling an idea of a flower. All right, the moment of truth. Can you still get your hands on it? Oh, an absolutely emphatic yes. Chanel number 5 is still one of the best-selling perfumes on the planet. It's been in production for over 100 years. So yeah, the essence of Marilyn's most iconic scent is alive and well and totally available. But here's the thing, Marilyn wasn't a one-hit wonder when it came to perfumes. Her taste was way more complex than that. So next up, we've got a fragrance that shows a totally different, much more alluring side of her: Guerlain Shalimar. Shalimar is another total legend, created back in 1925. It's widely considered the very first Oriental fragrance. And the story behind it? Wow. It was inspired by the epic love story of the emperor who built the Taj Mahal for his wife. The name Shalimar even means temple of love. How romantic is that? And you can tell right away this is a completely different world from Chanel number 5. It starts with this bright, citrusy kick of bergamot, but that fades fast, and it just dives deep into this rich, sensual heart. The base is all about this incredible, creamy vanilla and a warm, smoky resin called opopanax. We're talking pure, unadulterated opulence and glamour in a bottle. So, what's the verdict on this one? Can you buy it? Yes, another big one. Just like number 5, Shalimar has absolutely stood the test of time. It's a beloved classic, and you can find it pretty much everywhere. So, hey, we're 2 for 2 so far. Okay, now things get a little more interesting. We're going to look at 2 more of her rumored favorites. And these are going to show us not only a lighter side of her, but also, well, this is where our quest gets a little tricky. So first there's Rose Geranium by Florists of London. And this is a really prestigious British perfume house. I mean, they were founded way back in 1730. Think about that. And compared to the grand statements of Chanel or Shalimar, this one is so different. It's way fresher, it's greener, it's a much more natural smelling floral. It just goes to show, Marilyn didn't always need to wear a big, bold fragrance. And the good news? You can totally still buy this one. Florist London is still making Rose Geranium, so this little piece of Marilyn's history is out there for anyone who wants that touch of classic, refined English floral. Okay, and that brings us to our final fragrance, Joy by Jean Patou. And this one has a story. It was launched in 1930. Think about that, right in the middle of the Great Depression. And it was marketed as the most expensive perfume in the world. It was this act of defiant luxury in the hardest of times, made with just an insane amount of pure jasmine and rose. I mean, it sounds incredible, right? So elegant, so sophisticated, just bursting with flowers. But this is where our little investigation hits a snag. The question is, can you actually go out and buy the original Joy by Jean Patou today? And, well, this is where we hit our first real dead end. The original Jean Patou fragrance, the one Marilyn actually wore, is gone.
It's been discontinued. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I've seen a perfume called Joy. And you have. But in 2018, the name was bought and a totally new, completely different perfume was launched called Joy by Dior. So the crucial thing to remember is, while you can buy a perfume called Joy, it is absolutely not the same scent Marilyn knew and loved.
So, okay, after digging into all these iconic bottles, what's the takeaway? Let's wrap this up and take one final look at Marilyn's fragrant legacy and what it all means for us perfume lovers today. All right, so here's the final scorecard. You've got the sparkly aldehydic floral of Chanel No. 5 and the warm, spicy oriental of Shalimar, both readily available. Then you've got the fresh green floral Floris Rose Geranium, which is also still available. So 3 out of 4 of her signature scents are still with us. But that last one, the intensely floral Joy by Jean Patou, that one's become a true collector's item. The only way you're finding it is by hunting down a vintage bottle.
So what's the bottom line? Well, it turns out that most of Marilyn Monroe's fragrance world is actually pretty accessible, which is amazing. We can still smell the very scents that helped create her iconic image. But the story of Joy is a powerful reminder that some legends really are irreplaceable. They become these elusive treasures that make the hunt for them part of the magic.
What a fascinating trip through scent and history, right? So now I have to ask you, the iconic sparkler, the opulent classic, the fresh English rose, or would you go on the hunt for the lost floral? Which piece of Marilyn's fragrant legacy would you want to wear?